What it do, modified family? You should know where we are. We're at the Honda library. I found out something shocking, a new revelation. I am into BDSM apparently, because I have been torturing myself trying to figure out why my GSR is not getting oil pressure. I've gone through so much. I've pulled the collective Honda experience. I've asked people. So I've got two suggestions. One, that maybe the journals in my crank are plugged up. I remember washing them several times when it came back from being remanufactured. I made videos of that and showed that they were clear, but they could have been gunked up somehow. Maybe the top end, the cam caps are blocked up and oil's not getting through there. Not sure, but it's painstaking to have to pull off a single part of an engine while the engine is still in the car. So today, I'm gonna pull the engine out of the car, or at least begin the process. So we're gonna drop into time lapse and we're just gonna start ripping stuff out. So hopefully this is a very short video. We will see. But first, you gotta give me 5 on my black hand side and let's go.
Got an electrode in my pants. It's kicking off spark. Face the lightning, drink it up. I'll tell you when you've had enough. I'm not crazy. I'm all charged up. I'll lick your socket just to test your spark.
I tried to speed through all the somewhat tedious and boring things. So, got the exhaust manifold off, unplugged everything that was in the front, so the whole wiring harness is just folded over there. I'm going to take off the slave cylinder for the clutch, and I'm going to drape that off to the side, and then the motor will all come out as one unit. I'm trying to get to the point where it's only hanging from this trans mount and this post mount. So I already got the top 2 bolts off the T-bracket. I don't know if that's really visible from here, but if you work on Hondas, you know what a T-bracket is. So I got the top 2 bolts. I got 2 19s that I need to get out right there. And then that dowel pin out of the shift linkage. And this bad boy is ready to pull right out. I know I have an engine stand. I know it's buried, but this is moving right along. You might have seen things like I drained out the coolant with my specialty container, which is just a gallon of Crystal Geyser with a square cut out of the top. It was very effective. I've caught like 90% of the coolant. The only time there was coolant loss is when I decided not to take this heater core hose off the engine, and I took it off of like the heater control piece right there, and that had a little bit of leak, which I tried to catch some of it, but you're always going to break a few eggs when you're doing this. But this has been in and out of here a few times, so it's not too crazy. So I'm going to take the strut tower bar off. When I installed it like the Integra, where we punched the holes into the upper part of the tower instead of going under these bolts. These 2 nuts were loose, which was kind of weird, but I tightened these ones. Don't know why. The other ones were fine, but I took these off. I used 13 mil bolts. Don't know why. That's just what I picked up from like Lowe's. But this is coming right along. I'll probably give this a wipe down once the engine's out. And then the goal, maybe not for today, would be to get the B16, that's my housemate's, back in there. You may have seen this in here before because it was in here. And we're just switching back to a motor that we know runs and get the oil pressure so I can get this thing back on the street. It's been a long time. And then once this is out of the driveway, we can pull the white one up and fix the burnt valve. And then once that's out of the driveway, we can fix the radiator on my silver one and the crank pulley and just all these little things that need to be done. And we still need to work on Zero's car. Zero was working on his truck earlier. So everything is coming along nicely. So to give a frame of reference, I started this at about 10:30. It's about 10:47 right now. So it's almost been exactly an hour that I've been working on this, and it's almost all the way apart. As you saw, I lifted the car up, took the wheels off, popped out the center cap, put the wheels back on, sat it down so I could break this axle nut loose. So I will use this. I'm going to keep this because I'm not putting in new axles. I did it on the other side in a different video, but I'm going to pop that off. I rarely smash it down. People are like, oh, your thing's slipping. I'm like, it's not slipping. It's super tight. I just don't bother always punching it down like like that. After the first time it was done. What else? Oh yeah, so I'm gonna pop off the spindle here, caliper, whatever this thing. I'm gonna take this off so I can get out the axle, and then there'll be nothing holding this to the car except for the 2 mounts that are supporting it and the shift linkage. This is pretty easy, and it's a lot easier doing it that way than trying to get this off in the air. Even with like good power tools, it's easier. Just do it on the ground, pop it right off, and then just keep going with your disassembly. Always a shout out to my friend Anthony. We met, bought some car parts off him, and then he sold his house, dipped to AZ because he didn't want to deal with California's emissions. And as you can see, I can totally relate, but I'm still here. But I thank you for the engine stand that he sent my way. So axles are out, T-brackets out. So like I said, just the trans mount and the engine mount are the only thing that's suspending this motor in place. So I have this set up. I put a bolt into that front bracket, that upper bracket. I don't even know what goes there. We never run those accessories, but something goes there. Maybe it's power steering, air conditioning, something. Oh yeah, I think the power steering bracket. So it's connected right there. This chain says 1,000 pounds max. I'm sure we're just shy of that because this engine's not that heavy. I'm sure I could pick it up if I had handles. And then I took out one of the trans bolts and put it back in. Made sure it wasn't up against my distributor because I would snap that bad boy right off. And I put some towels under here. So I'm going to switch into time lapse. I'm going to try to get this out. I know that it's usually advantageous to, 1, have 2 people, and then 2, have the chain a little bit longer on the trans side so it dips down. And also, because I did not drain the oil out of the transmission, I have a broken piece, or just the upper piece of an axle. See, there's nothing connected to it. It's like a Bluetooth axle, and that's jammed in there, so hopefully nothing's gonna come out of there. Maybe a little coolant might come out from behind here, but hopefully we're good. I don't spill oil all over my driveway. So let's go to time lapse.
Only once you're on your knees, a power you just can't believe. You're gonna go right, so damn eager to please. I'm not crazy, I'm all charged up. I lick your socket just to test your spark.
Your boy got it out, no problem. Didn't damage anything, so I forgot that I didn't disconnect the fuel return line off the fuel pressure regulator. But I didn't have hose clamps on either side, so it slipped off, no problem, no damage, because I just slide it on and off. And then there was one more hose that came out of the heater core, this one, that was still connected. So you saw me take that off, but everything came off smoothly. One thing I was noticing is I may have broke my knock sensor, not in the taking off of everything, but I came down here and I'm like, I think this is where my knock sensor goes. I get confused. I think this is like an oil pressure sensor here, and then this is like the knock sensor. But yeah, we'll definitely see what's good with that when we put the other one in, or if I have to get a new one. Yeah, this is good. You can see that modification we did we didn't need this extra outlet, so we just shaved it off and filled it. And we changed the manifold because there was nothing to go to it. But this is all good. I think this is all we have for this video right here. I just had a little bit of time before work, a few hours. This took about just under 2 hours to get the motor pulled. So if the other one was ready to go, I'm sure it would take that same or maybe a little bit longer to get it in and get it all set up and get it running. I had no intention of getting it running today. I'm just happy to get it out. This needs to get the transmission off, get the clutch off, and then get this bad dog on an engine stand and start disassembling it and just see where there's blockage, what's preventing this from running the way it should and give me all the sweet, sweet power I need. So we'll definitely figure that out. I love you guys for sticking with me. I hope you guys have a good Saturday. All right, until I see you next time, probably putting this bad boy back in and disassembling it. I would much rather have this on the road, even without my favorite motor in there. But we'll see what comes up. Just depends on time and the help I can get. All right, peace, Modified family.